और अब आपको सीधे ले चलते हैं आरबीआई गवर्नर की प्रेस वार्ता में क्या कुछ कह रहे हैं, आइए आपको सुनाते हैं।
And fuller
सभा थी,
policy
3000 कांग्रेस वर्कर्स थे, उनके ऊपर गोलियां चलाई
I
जाती
would now like to provide an assessment of the growth and inflation
वो भाग के छुप
conditions.
जाते हैं पुलिस
Let me
स्टेशन के
first
अंदर and they burn
briefly
the police
touch
station
upon
with
global
22
growth.
constables.
Global growth
So
is
this becomes
sustaining
the
its
Chauri
momentum
Chaura
in
incident.
2024
तो
and is likely to
12
remain
फरवरी को
resilient, supported by rebound in global
गांधी जी
trade.
calls
Inflation
back
is easing, but the final
non-cooperation
leg of
and the
this
civil disobedience
disinflation
movement.
journey
This is basically
may
the
be
officially end
tough.
of the non-cooperation
Central
movement.
banks
The
remain
non-cooperation movement
steadfast
called as
and
that.
data dependent in their fight
इसके बहुत
against
क्रिटिसिज्म होता है। मैं
inflation.
दिखाऊं आपको एनसीईआरटी में
Market
सुभाष चंद्र बोस भी
expectations
लिखते हैं कि
regarding
गांधी हैज फेल्ड एज ए
timing
लीडर,
and
कोई
pace
फायदा
of
नहीं है भाई
interest
इसका।
rate cuts are also changing with incoming
जब
data
जनता तैयार हो
and
चुकी थी,
central
जब
bank
लोहा गर्म हो चुका था,
communication.
जब उसके ऊपर हथौड़ा
US
मारने का
dollar
टाइम आया
and
था,
sovereign
तो उस
bond
समय
तो गवर्नर शक्तिकांत दास मीडिया से रूबरू हो रहे हैं इस समय और आरबीआई की ये प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जिसको लेकर देश के विकास को लेकर अपनी बात रख रहे हैं। मौद्रिक नीति समिति की बैठक के बाद 3 दिन तक ये बैठक चली जिसके नतीजों का आज आरबीआई गवर्नर ऐलान कर रहे हैं। आपको बता दें इस समय आरबीआई गवर्नर शक्तिकांत दास जो कि मीडिया से रूबरू हुए, मौद्रिक नीति समिति की बैठक जो कि 3 दिन चली और उस बैठक में क्या कुछ निर्णय हुए, नतीजे क्या रहे, उस पर ऐलान कर रहे हैं आरबीआई गवर्नर शक्तिकांत दास।
Manufacturing activity continues to gain ground on the back of strengthening domestic demand. The 8 core industries posted healthy growth in April 2024. Purchasing Managers Index, that is PMI in manufacturing, continued to exhibit strength in May 2024 and it is indeed the highest globally. Services sector maintained buoyancy as evident from available high frequency indicators. PMI services stood strong at 60.2 in May 2024, indicating continued and robust expansion in activity. Private consumption, the mainstay of aggregate demand, is recovering and it is recovering with steady discretionary spending in urban areas. Revival in rural demand is getting a fillip from improving farm sector activity. Investment activity continues to gain traction on the back of ongoing expansion in non-food bank credit. Merchandise exports expanded in April with improved global demand. Non-oil, non-gold imports entered positive territory. Services exports and imports rebounded and posted a strong growth in April this year. Looking ahead, the forecast of above normal southwest monsoon by the Indian Meteorological Department, that is IMD, is expected to boost Kharif production and replenish the reservoir levels. Strengthening agricultural sector activity is expected to boost rural consumption. On the other hand, sustained buoyancy in services activity should continue to support urban consumption. The healthy balance sheets of banks and corporates, government's continued thrust on capex, high capacity utilization and business optimism augur well for investment activity. External demand should get a fillip from improving prospects of global trade. Taking all these factors into consideration, real GDP growth for the current financial year 2024-25 is projected at 7.2%. Let me repeat, the GDP growth that we are now projecting for the current financial year 2024-25 is 7.2%, with Q1 at 7.3%, Q2 at 7.2%, Q3 at 7.3% and Q4 at 7.2%. The risks are evenly balanced. I would now like to focus on inflation. CPI headline inflation softened further during the months of March and April, though persisting food inflation pressures offset the gains of disinflation in core and deflation in fuel groups. Despite some moderation, pulses and vegetables inflation remained firmly in double digits. Vegetable prices are experiencing a summer uptick following a following a shallow winter season correction. The deflationary trend in fuel was driven primarily by the LPG price cuts in early March. Core inflation softened for the 11th consecutive month since June 2023. Services inflation moderated to a historic low, and goods inflation remained contained. The exceptionally hot summer season and the low reservoir levels may put stress on the summer crop of vegetables and fruits. The Rabi arrivals of pulses and vegetables need to be carefully monitored. Global food prices have also started inching up. Prices of industrial metals have registered double-digit growth in the current calendar year so far. These trends, if sustained, could accentuate the recent uptick in input cost conditions for farms. On the other hand, the forecast of above normal monsoon bodes well for the Kharif season. Wheat procurement has surpassed last year's level. In fact, the buffer stocks of wheat and rice